My name is nothing, and your life is going to change. You want me to be there, to be there, to be there. My name is nothing, and your life is going to change. You want me to be there, to be there, to be there. My name is nothing, and your life is going to change. You are going to be different. You are going to be out. You are going to be bigger and larger than ever. Imagine the impossible. And you know why? Because just you and I will find the power that's been born inside of you all of this time. And all of this time you will pray to go out and no longer will that be the case. You will be the sharp. You will be the God or goddess of. And you will be the one that everybody looks to and says, hey, look, they're there. The master's there. The teacher there. There's no one that will make my life different. And who am I to do that? Remember, I'm just something. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to change your life. Your life will no longer be the same. Yes, my voice will always be oh, you know everything you imagine possible. Because possible for one simple reason. And it is possible. My name is nothing, and your life is going to change. You want me to be there, to be there, to be there. My name is nothing, and your life is going to change. You want me to be there, to be there, to be there.
Welcome to another broadcast of Uncommon Sense, where today we're going to be talking about a whole lot of things, and we'll be expecting some guests with us as well. We will have Luke Gill, who will co-host the show, and at the same time, we're also going to have Ashok Thakur join us at some point. I spoke to him about an hour and a half ago, and he was asking me how things were, and then we'll talk about that when he comes on, because I'm sure he's going to have 150 questions based exactly on what I've gone through in the last little while. First of all, let me welcome some guests into the room. Jacqueline, hello, good evening. Cassie, good evening. You are conscious. That's good. I appreciate your being in the room. That's awesome. By now you should be in some rave or party or something, celebrating everything, life, like Ashok is, life is short. And nowhere do you find it so than when you start to recognize how short it actually is. Ashok, I sent you a link to your Facebook, but you know what I'll do? I'll send that link here too, so that it's easier for you. Cassie says she's in the shower. Well, that's good. You want to be on the show while you're in the shower? Then we can chat as well. Ashok, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Dr. Gill?
Wait. Let me adjust the volume.
Oh, the volume. Okay, I'm going to try it, like say.
Okay, got it.
I can turn down my volume. Hold on.
No. You don't. Well, yes, this is you. It's like telling an electron not to be an electron. It's very difficult.
I'll sit
but
back.
It's good. No. Now you're good. The sound is good. I've adjusted it, so my eardrums don't blow out. So we're okay.
Good to see you back.
Good to be front and back at the same time. Yeah, I went in for a procedure where they were supposed to do an angiogram, and they did, and they sent a needle in my groin, kind of things, reversal of roles here, and put it up into my heart, and this was from a blockage that was about 80% or so, some time ago, a long time ago. So they were going to put a stent in. They had pre-ordered some stents and all of that. Now I think it's being sold on bargain basement rates or something like that, because when they went in, they found that there was no block. It was 20%. It was like, what? So some kind of miracle took place where, what do you call it? The collaterals started taking over, and it shrank that one that needed to pump the blood, and massive blood came out through the other ways. And so as a result, everything was kept hunky-dory, and the other vessels that were in there were flowing like rivers, I'm told. So
wow.
I'm much to the chagrin of a lot of people, I'm going to be living till I'm 93, maybe. I'm not sure.
No, that's too short of a life. Nah.
Yeah. We'll get.
You want to be living till you are healthy.
I'll get into a relationship, then we'll experience a lot of stress, and that will kill me.
I don't know about that. When they did your heart is open now.
What?
Your heart is open now. Your heart
Uh,
is open.
well, I hope not, because infection will set in.
You have to look at that side. I was saying it's open, so you are going to get into a relationship now with the open heart.
No. I'm
Yeah,
just
but
kidding
like
about
it's,
it.
I mean, the miracles and the magics, they always happen. In fact, I'm thinking about just talking to you today. I'm thinking about like on this Saturday, if you are aware, we'll probably do a show on miracles and magic and
Sure,
how our beliefs determine what magic and miracles we are going to get into our life. And now
sure.
we need,
You
yeah,
see, here's the funny thing. Uh, People who don't know the science behind it will call it a miracle. Just like people who experience our cell phones that talk to us, they'll look at us and they'll go, "Oh my gosh, what a miracle this is! It's magic." And people in the forest will be, they'll think that we're some kind of gods with this miracle. But I have to tell you something. I actually physically, mentally created a meditation technique for the last few months that actually did that. And in between all of I cannot even begin to tell you the amount of stress I was under. But anyway, I got rid of all of that. And the dawning was yesterday when I was being discharged. Was it yesterday? I think
day
it was
before.
yesterday.
What I thought
Today is what day? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I was discharged yesterday.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
So
And
I mean, the thing is, yes, when you don't understand it, like it's a miracle. But like for short of defining it, rather because we have a limited vocabulary. Because if 50 years ago you would have told somebody you can talk to somebody across the globe, they would have thought it's a miracle. Because how can you do that, right? Like you
well,
can have. Yeah.
I started remembering a little bit more every day. The quieter I am, and that's the weird thing about today, because I was a lot of input. There is a lot of reason to be grounded in the planet right now, but for some reason I kept floating in this space between. And I think those drugs that they give you, because my nerve and the artery were interlaced. So when the guy punctured it, I mean, it was like somebody took a knife and stabbed me in the thigh and some other places. And luckily my hands were down. I would have squeezed his testicles, which were not that far from me, for doing that. And then they knocked me out with this, whatever they knocked me out with. They call it an anesthesiologist, and took me out and did everything. Oh yes, and also morphine and all of that. Now, when I'm in that in-between state, all of everything I used to do normally before I became immersed in the world again came back to me suddenly. And the memory of what it was like when I was 18 years old, near-death experience and all of that, I thought I was there for several days. I started remembering something that I've been using in the last few months, unconsciously, not paying attention to how it's done. That all of life, I was asking a lot of questions. Is life only on Earth? And I said, no, of course not. It's on many, many, many thousands and thousands and planets, and then in multiple dimensions, and then in multiple realities and choice points and parallel universes, and so on and so forth. It's so complex. And I say, what do they do on some of these planets and stuff? Because some people go in ethereal form, non-corporate form, and they go in there. Now I'm going to sound like a crazy guy, but just
you are a crazy guy.
I blame the drugs. And so I saw them practicing and learning to build organic life. Beings, and I call them beings loosely because they're not really human per se. They're not really astral hoo-ha. They're not like the movies and all that. They were slowly combining with their mind organic matrices and everything, making leaves, and the ones who are higher forms created amphibians and then mammals and a few other things. And it was very elaborate, and they had to keep it all together, otherwise they would fail. And the whole idea was to practice building this. And then it became clear to me when Siddhartha said that everything is connected. Your one thought can move a stone. Your one thought can move an animal one way or another way, or like you were talking with the dog and all of that. And that you actually have control over your own body as well. And so when you forget this, then you forget the power that you have, who you are, and the powers you possess.
And how do we forget it? Because we forget it because there are a lot of stresses, a lot of things which is coming
the world. We get immersed. We
Right.
get immersed in the world. No, can't blame the world. It exists. It does what it does, and it's a security. It's a matrix for some people. It's comfortable. The realities that they find themselves in, just like people find themselves in relationships or jobs and all that, and they're very comfortable and they don't move from there because they want that to be repetitive every day. They want to be able to look forward to a particular income, and so that's why a lot of people don't become entrepreneurs and stuff. But years ago, I have to tell you something. When I was still communing with beings and what have you, and I'm talking years ago in 2006. 2005, around there, something came to me and said, "Ask. I know you have a lot of questions, so ask." I said, "Yes. This time, I want you to tell me everything." I'm not even sure if I should make this public, but anyway, I said, "Tell me everything, even though I don't understand. Don't tell me when the time is right. You'll know the answers. Don't tell me that, because every fool tells me that." And started laughing and started giving me answers. And so one of those things that they see, I wrote everything they told me. I put it next to my computer here. It's like this big, and it says basically this: you're here to save lives and to heal everyone that comes to you, everyone that I bring to you. And I said, "How the heck am I going to do that? Do you know how many people there are on this?" And asking the Great Spirit. And he started laughing. He said, "Just remember," and as he leaves, it says, "Just remember who you are and the power you possess." And so bit by bit, we start to wake up, just like you in your jungle experience and all of that wakes up with one little push from somewhere, whether it's biochemical in nature or thought in nature or practice in nature. It's one of those things. And so we all need some kind of a push. And I think that's where a guru comes in very useful for a lot of people, or a teacher for a while. But then you don't have to be stuck with that teacher. You can continue. In fact, you should continue, because you become higher and higher and higher in your understanding, in your capability. And somewhere along the way, as you heal, as you create creatures and all of that, and you want to be that, then you should heal not only your own body, but the bodies of everybody around you, including animals, including plants. And so that's what I've been doing without understanding how I'm doing it. Not paying much attention, but now I'm paying attention because, in recovery, after the operation on Monday, there's not much to do except think and lay there and be in and out and notice all this dead people that come through the whole place.
There's much to do. When I had mine, I had all beautiful nurses, so I was busy.
Yeah.
So it depends upon, you can't say there is nothing to do in the recovery. I think that's the most beautiful time, because you're drugged and there are beautiful people around you.
Yes. It was my pleasure to make them all laugh. They couldn't stop laughing.
I know.
Some of my jokes, they were having a really good time.
Yeah.
And they are very stressed, these people, but they love coming in, checking on me, making sure I'm all right, and all of that. So that was very, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the thing though. Wherever we are, we can create that environment where people, even in the most stressed environment,
agreed,
can change. And it's so beautiful because, like you said, they are very stressed. I mean, I respect a lot of what they do, and then deal with crazy people like you and I, like that's even yeah, but it's like something changes in their life, because just to seeing
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
like the nurse who was attending to me when I had the heart attack, she said,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
why we have this guy over here at all? Like he doesn't seem to be sick. Like he started questioning me. I'm like, you see the chart, but she said, you just have this thing 2 hours ago. I'm like, yeah, but what does that matter? You know, and
Mm-hmm.
and that
Mm-hmm.
and that's what like I like you were what you were talking about. Once you quiet yourself,
Mm-hmm.
lot of things like what you were talking about started flowing to you. Whether you call it entities, people from another planet, Palladians, or whatever you want to call it, that's what happens, and that is important that you make yourself quiet. And sometimes it is difficult to make yourself quiet with all the distraction. That's why sometimes we have
Yes.
to go to the nature, to the environment.
The thing we have to teach people, and I guess we have to remember as well, is how to remain focused, and concentrate. And I realized that in my practice of doing everything, Ashok,
Yeah.
that I actually was undisciplined in the way I do things. But now I'm setting up a way so that I become more. I'm hoping to create at least a course a week, on everything I know and put it all out there. Um, Number one, I have an early start, as early as I can. I try not to wake up, at 9, 10. I'm actually awake quite early, 6:30 usually. I have a solid breakfast because I believe that the breakfast, when you have it in your body uses it for sugars and everything you need. And then I start with the hardest task that I have to do. You see, because then it makes it easier to get rid of the smaller ones. I know everybody says start with the small ones, then you'll have achievement and all of that. No, you finish that, then you won't feel so bad about facing the hardest task. And then that's what I do. I also factor time in for procrastination because I know we are human creatures. There's going to be calls coming in. There's going to be all kinds of people asking for our advice and what to do and all of that. So sometimes either that happens, we go out and have a break, take some fresh air. For me, it's easy. I visit my parents, have a little tea with them and things like that. And before we do all of that, though, I have a proper list, of everything that I need to accomplish or do. And if I don't finish this, then next week that list becomes additional to whatever it is I didn't finish. So I try to work stronger, better, and faster with a lot of this pre-written to-do list. Not the way to do like some people say I have to do. This is like to accomplish. I just changed the name from to do to accomplish. And so when you do that and you take it off, that's amazing. The problem with a lot of people, Ashok, and I'm one of them, guilty before, I multitask a lot. So I'm trying to avoid multitasking. Keyword is a trying, because when I try to avoid multitasking, then I'm able to focus on one thing at a time. Like, you remember that thing I was doing for my numerology friend? I finished it. 6,200 pages, all done. Took a while, but I just hunkered down and I just finished it in the best way possible, made sure it was very accurate. And when I finished, Ashok, I gave myself a treat. I really did. And so now I'm doing this multitasking.
And what was the treat?
The treat?
Yeah.
Noodles.
Come on, that was your treat?
Yeah, you see, you won't understand it. There is something in Singapore called bak chor mee. It means minced meat noodles, and it's like flat and very thin, that flat, and it comes flat, and it's got all these wonderful ingredients. And there's a place in Singapore that's not too far from where I am, opposite a place called Thomson Plaza, but that has been there for like 30 years, maybe. The best in Singapore. So
Really?
even I've never been there for, I think, at least a year plus, And so when the owner who had a mask on recognized me, I recognized her as well. He said, "Long time no see you. Where have you been? What have you done?" I said, "Yeah, I've been very busy. And COVID, of course, what to do." So
My treats are way different than the noodles. But
what
it
what do you
could
do? What do you do for a treat?
I noodle with somebody. I noodle myself with somebody. But
That
that's
that
beautiful though. Um,
that can be a treat, or it can be maximum stress.
so well, for me, it's always a treat. So I'm
Okay.
not going to bring in the stress part in there. But I want to
Okay.
ask you something. Uh, yeah, and we will elaborate it on my show because I'm going to do a show on the magic and miracles and the things.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there are things in the world, right. I mean, let's take an example, simple example. Like on the last show, you had the severe headache and stuff like that, right? And then we were talking about it. We are talking something about it, and I saw you doing that, and it was
Yeah.
gone.
No,
So,
it was from a realization, and that realization was the collapse of the 30 stories. Da 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 da. Then
right.
I realized from that point that I had some kind of control, but it came back again when it was not with conversation with you or somebody like you and all of that. So it became a little bit difficult. But I realized that that was of my own doing because I was focused on something that I can never change, a person that I can never change, and many things like this. So, and then I realized that. So I used the same ability that I used to heal myself here, and believe it or not, I use it to heal my father, and I use it to heal my mother from stuff, so that and if I spend more time healing them, it will disappear. Their bodies will just come back to the way they were in youth.
It
But
was
but here's
amazing though. This tonight I saw your father. You eating dinner with your father. What a
yeah,
blessing that is. What a
yes,
blessing.
yes,
Like
yes.
every time, like you do that, I'm sure you're very thankful because I never had that chance to
Very
do
much
that with
so,
my
very
father.
much so. I make fun of him telling me about my weight and things like that. But I told him, wait, there are some things that need to go click in my head before the weight even flies off by itself, literally.
Right,
And
and
and and and
look
and,
at
and,
his.
and I'll teach people, because what happened to me with that was the blood pressure was going up. I was like 158 something over some ridiculous amount. I was about to explode, and they were actually thinking of giving me some blood pressure medicine and stuff like that. And after this took place, right, this poke between my legs, weird to say,
Between your legs.
uh,
Okay.
and I was recovering. Then I realized the control that I did
What
have.
happened between your legs?
What?
What happened between your legs? What was hanging around? You said between
Poke.
your legs.
The poke with the needle.
Oh, that was in the thigh. Okay, got it.
I don't know why you focus there. I have no
I
clue.
don't know. I mean, is there anything else to focus over there? Unless you are going for a surgery. I mean, I don't think so. But
Now I'm getting worried about you a little
yeah,
bit.
well, you should be worried about me, definitely. But like the amazing thing is, think about like I saw your dad tonight and how
The
skinny he is.
Yeah, we're trying to get him to fatten up, because he needs to take more. He's trying to be on a diet. I don't know why, but he needs to get that up. His kidneys and stuff need to build up again, because he was on the verge of dialysis. They were giving him all that, and somehow they say it's a miracle, and some other people are taking credit with I prayed at this temple, I prayed at that temple. Okay, great, fantastic. But
Tell your mom to feed him some parathas, like some Indian parathas with the ghee. That will do it.
he cannot, because of the potassium content. He has to watch
Oh,
many things he's got to watch. But
okay.
here's the point I'm trying to make: mind power. That's all it took. When I released all of these things from my head, or released all of this from inside, I came back to the peace I used to know a long time ago. The peace that I share with a lot of people. that it's not anybody's fault that I've forgotten it. I just forgotten it. And so I tried to relax into something that didn't fit me well. It's like a cage that was too small. And so I'm free. I'm like so free for the first time. It's like a bird right now for the next week or so, stretching its wings, just really stretching. And I'm looking at the sky. I'm saying, okay, let's see, can we handle everything else on this thing? And then some other abilities I have that I haven't even tried, I'm going to try again and do, because they worked for me in the past, and I don't know why I never used it. And so today, yesterday, last night, this morning, everything, blood pressure was normal, like literally in the so powerfully normal stage.
I think your
120, 130.
I think your blood pressure was high because you got that beautiful nurse sitting right next to you. That happened to me too sometimes. Tell her to stay a little bit away from you.
And my hospital ward was next to the changing room. Okay, I got it.
No, not that. Your personal nurse I'm talking about, not the nurse in the office.
Anyway, you were going to share something about miracles and talk about that.
Yes, so a couple of things. But the one thing which I was talking about is like I realized at a certain point I used to think like I can do everything on my own, which most of the people say, which maybe there is a certain truth to that, and I can be blissful anywhere, which there is a certain truth to that. But I realize sometimes it is something which you do with somebody else, and that has the effect on that. Like a simple example is you had this headache and you were going through that, and then we started talking, and I started saying something about these that many stories building or whatever. That is the point. Like the words and the people you talk with sometimes have got a magical effect. Now, I'm not saying I had that magical effect, but I'm saying when you are talking about it and the words, like if you go to the
realization.
I don't want to say Hindu culture, but it's what they call the Sanatan, which is a universal principle, which is not related with any religion, but it's the old Hindu. Sanatan is the one where they base the Hindu culture on. They put in rites around that, but like that has got the universal principle, and they have got these chants and these mantras, right? Even if you don't know the meaning of that, when you chant that, there is a sound into that one. There is a geometry to the sounds, which all of a sudden clicks, and something happens, like the miracle. Like you can put in all the scientific explanation to, like how you had this headache and you were talking about it, because that's the recent example I'm talking about. I got more, but there are sounds when you are with the other people. There are places when you go to certain places, there's energy over there. Sure. So this concept about when we say it is all in there, yes, I understand it, but sometimes it is pacified, made it faster. Something becomes, some person or some place become a catalyst. Like I saw it with some of my very special friends, like when I'm with them, I can create much more and they can create much more. So I want to know, what do you think about that? And do you think there is a reality in that one, or I'm putting too much spiritual spin on, just like you say, oh, well, it happened. There is a scientific reason to that.
Could you say that again? No, I'm just kidding.
I have to say the whole thing before you answer.
Yes, you're right. I mean, sounds, mantras have a calming effect on people when you direct your energy and your thought on the one thing to the exclusion of everything else. Then you pay attention to that. That's what the thing with mantras were. But also at the same time, if you study something called cymatics, Cymatics, it's the science of vibrations and the science of matter. And if you send out certain vibrations at certain frequencies, sand on a brass plate will form different designs, and they become increasingly more complex into the flower of life symbols and other symbols. And they're not the reason we see them only in 2 dimensions because of the plate. but they are in 3 dimensions, and that's inconceivable when you think about it. So if you have a certain sound going for a particular amount of time, you can recreate, which is what I was telling you about on the beings who are under practice and all of this. Some even create entire planets. That's how powerful those beings are, and when they can terraform a planet, literally. And it sounds crazy, and it sounds like I've been drinking. I'm sorry, but I'm not. But
You're still under the influence of drugs, people will think.
Well, maybe it's still wiping off and wearing off. But at that point, when you said something and I said something, and we talked about the 30-story thing and how people have different perceptions, all of a sudden my perception shifted because of our discussion. And the perceptual shift caused a different feeling altogether. No longer was I at ground zero. I was on this not even 30th floor. I was free to go to the 300 millionth floor if I chose, and I could be back. And it made no sense. So there was no climbing to be done. It's at your disposal. It's available to you the instant you shift your perception. I think indelibly you cannot go back. I'm not able to go back. It's very difficult. Let me say hello to some people who joined us. Vlad, welcome. Maria Luisa, welcome. Preslava from Bulgaria, welcome. Vijay from Malaysia, have not heard from you for a long time. Welcome. And Ting Maliwan from Thailand, welcome. Vijay is a good friend of mine and Danny's. Vijay got married last year, and so he knows what the
married people go through.
What married people go through. But he's in the initial stages,
He's in the honeymoon period.
Yeah, give him another couple of years. Then.
That was very, very optimistic for him to hear that.
Yeah. So, and Katie Marie is there too. Good morning, Katie. Welcome to the show.
Katie, welcome to the show.
And from Japan, we're being watched from Japan as well. So, so you got a crowd from everywhere, and then people. The good thing is, people after the broadcast, people tune in at some point, and everybody will ask the question, "Where is my son? Where is Luke?"
Yes.
I don't know.
Where is Luke? That could be a good movie. Where is Luke? That's the show which we have to do.
Right? Yeah, where's Waldo? Where's Waldo?
I know. Where is Luke? What happened to Luke? That's what we have to find out. Luke, you have to come on.
Actually, you know what? Today is Wednesday. You're right. No, right. He can't. He's now become a Freemason in Bulgaria. So he's attending some important meetings, esoteric knowledge, and all of that. So we have much to learn from the boy, man. Yeah.
If he comes on the show and talk.
Yes.
So these two things has to happen so that we can learn. But then there is a power of belief too, which is very important for miracles and magics to happen. And we'll talk about more detail in the show, but like one of my friend across the world, like in Greece, like very young, she had this cancerous thing in her stomach, right? And she called me and she keep on telling me, Ashok, if you pray for me, my operation will go successful. I'm like, I was like, no, you shouldn't be dependent on me on doing that. Because I was like, what if the problem happened? Then it is blamed on me too. But she said, no, I definitely know. And I will discuss it like how she got healed. And there are numerous examples, but every time which somebody healed when they talked with me, and of course it was their belief which caused it to heal. It was their blind belief that they said, oh, if you pray for me, okay, it will happen. And then I got other friends who are like, okay, but you shouldn't be doing that because then they are dependent on you. You should be letting them heal themselves. So there is a conflicting information how people think about these things. They say, oh, because this person is now dependent on you. Every time she
Mhm.
had a problem, she's going to look for Ashok. What if Ashok is not available? But it is not I who healed them. It is their belief that healed them more. I mean, I just sat in the meditation. I do the meditation every day morning, and you make fun of me. You said, Ashok, wake up at 11 o'clock. The reason I got trouble getting on 9 o'clock on the show, because I wake up and I do my routines and I do at least 1 hour of meditation. The only thing which I do is I sit in the meditation and I say, I want such and such, my friend, to be healed. Uh, and this morning in the meditation, like I had this this girl way back in India, like who has this issue, and she came to my meditation this morning, and so I'm going to talk to her. But like the thing is, uh, where do you draw the line? Like when you say, okay, so when you are going and getting elevated, in a person is getting elevated, like they need gurus to nudge them a little bit, and then I think at a certain point you get to a point, then you need another guru, and then you need another guru. But I don't think it's bad to look for a little bit of a catalyst help from somebody. What do you think about that?
Sometimes, when you're dealing with gurus or you're dealing with anybody for that matter who is a teacher, a pat on the back is a few vertebrae removed from a kick in the butt. And you kind of have to know the difference, what to do. And some people need to be incentivized to be able to make it happen. Some people need to be punished, and you have to discern what works and what doesn't work, because ultimately it's not you speaking your truths.
Right.
It's you conveying your message to the person who is your student. It's a story I told a long time ago about a couple that were about to catch a train at 11 o'clock, and it was still 9:30, and they were packing their bags. And the owner of the house where they stayed said, I'll give you a ride. He volunteered to give them a ride to the train station, but we have to be there at 11:15, otherwise you'll miss your train. So 9:30 goes by, it's 10 o'clock, and they're still not packed yet. So the guy is very, very nervous. He has to leave by 10:45, and he went down some more till 10:30, and they were still not packed yet. And he got really frantic and very upset. And next thing you know, about 11:15, now he's livid and angry and screaming. And then 5 minutes before 11, he said, to hell with you guys, I'm going to a train station. And he rushes off to the train station by himself. But you see, the whole idea was to take the couple to the train station and not to take himself. And so some gurus have to teach you in a certain way. They have to teach you a certain amount, and the time is going by, and da. But you have to focus on your student. If your student is tardy and slower, you have to pace the person. And if not, then you go further.
Yeah, and you are right, because I do that many times depending upon the person, because like some of the people who are coming into my life and who are learning, after like second or third time I'm talking to them, they hate me because I bring in so many things in them. And I tell it the way it is. And I'm like, okay, like a person says, but the Stephanie, I'm like, you have to do this thing, and they are like, no, Stephanie does not date outside New York. And I'm like, why Stephanie does not do that? Like, what is the reason for that? Right. And because now you're limiting the things. Like they're like, okay, Stephanie is this. I'm like, who the hell is Stephanie? Like, let's deal with that Stephanie, because that's messing you up.
Yeah.
And they hate me for that. But they eventually, through the process, they know it, because they needed to get that shock at that point in time. And that shock didn't feel good at that point. But like after 4 days, they realized how much it changed their life. Like it's like they wouldn't listen to it that time, because they may not be receptive to it, and they are like resisting it right away. But they will eventually listen to it. Like I realized Like the kids, when they are little,
Yeah.
and parents keep on telling them, don't do this or do this or don't do this. Kids don't listen to that. And then silently, when you come back and kids are not watching, kids are
Yeah.
doing the same thing, teaching their younger sibling or the older sibling the same thing which the parents said. So obviously, like all the students are like that, because they will go on. Sometimes they register at the point, and like you said, like everybody has to be evaluated in a different way. Somebody need
Yeah.
kick in the butt, somebody need pat in the back, and there is no one size fits all. And that's, I mean, I thought about something, so I'm not going. Okay, but that's
You lost your train of thought.
that's my
Did
thought.
you?
Once the moment I said one size fits all, I'm like, okay, that's no. But like the thing is, everybody is different. Everybody learn in a different way. But
Yeah.
I learned it like you, like I have
Here's-
people I look up to.
But here's the deal.
Right,
What if you and I, who are teachers,
right.
stop teaching?
That's an interesting thing though, because like many times,
No. How would you feel? How would you feel right now if I say, Ashok, stop teaching?
Well, I'm not. That's not an active act for me. I am the teacher, so I don't actively teach. My presence teaches people.
Yes, because your purpose in life is, I am a teacher. You are a teacher, and this is what you do, whether you are doing it formally or informally, whether you're doing it in a classroom, in a meditation session, in bed, naked with somebody. You're still a teacher. You're teaching them something, and so
Right.
all of this is part of you, your personality. But what if somewhere along the way, teacher, you also need to grow, continue growing, because your path doesn't end. You have to go beyond the quote unquote master category and go beyond to categories we cannot even have any conception of. And if that's the case, then do your emotions matter at that point? They're just emotions, like clouds. They are not you. They come in, they come out, you observe them and go, how interesting. That was loneliness that just came by. And that was anger. Oh, look, anger is coming by as well. That kind of thing.
So that's why I have teachers like you in my life. That's why even when I'm talking with you, I thought I'm talking with you to help other people, but helping me in the process. I mean, the thing is, like, you don't even actively have to teach. With like many times, I mean, like very recently, one of my friends, like she said, Ashok, you changed my life. I'm like, okay, how did I change your life, right? Because I want to note it down so I can change somebody else's too. She said, it's not anything which you taught me. I'm like, okay, that was a shock. She said, it's like how you live your life. And I was hanging around with you for 2 weeks. That changed so many things in me. And I'm like, what did it change? And she was trying to manifest this lover in her life. And she manifested it so quickly after we had that conversation. She said, what happened is you opened up the love channels in me by showing me how you could be that person. And everything else from that point, she said, everything which I wanted in my life got attracted. So she said, I learned less from what you are teaching, but more from just being with you. And so I'm not an active teacher, like I said. I mean, I may be, like some people may be getting the hints, but unless you experientially experience something, it doesn't have the same effect.
I think it was Rumi. Remember Rumi?
Yeah.
The poet who,
Right.
I think he said at some point, you reach a point where you are not needing any approval from anyone or anything or any crowd or any student or any teacher. He says there are 1,000 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. I remember that. 1,000 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Now, if we were teachers like that, what if along the way, and COVID has done this, which is very interesting for me because I've been resisting this for a long time, getting online and just do directly, because it's so much easier when you're face to face, eyeball to eyeball with people, and to be able to change lives that way. And because I cheat as well, because there's a lot of energy, and when I pass the energy to them, so much easier, and boom.
And I
something
agree
wakes
with
up.
you. Like so many
Yeah,
people did ask me, like, can you do it remotely? I said, because I don't know your area. It's very
can be
difficult for
done.
me to do it remotely.
Can be done. Can be done. I'm sure you can do it. You can do it. Just melt into the grid of the earth, the matrix, and you are everywhere at every moment at every time. And that's just Earth. Do that with the whole grid of the solar system, and instantaneously you are faster than light on anything and anywhere you want to be. And so there's far greater things than we have understood. But I wanted to point out to something. When we're dealing with being a teacher, yes, there are responsibilities, and yes, you have to do certain things. But from now on, there are certain things that people will, project onto you. A guru is supposed to be this way, to do that thing, not speak profanities, not not touch this,
not go dancing, not hang around with the beautiful girls.
There you go, not take a drink. Everybody is going to project their idea of a teacher, guru, master to you, as they've done to me as well. He said, Mel, I like about you the fact that you are very calm and very, you don't answer with vulgarities and stuff. Thank you and fuck you. Yeah, I appreciate that as well.
The thing is, people have these notions, like one of my very close.
But then you should see the recoil. I cannot believe you said that. And I said, look, that has meaning because your mind is dirty. It really has meaning because your mind is dirty. Just for example, Ashok, if we substituted the word F-U-C-K, do you know how to pronounce that?
Absolutely. Fuck it.
No, there's no it. If you substitute the word fuck with the word, a nice word, sandwich. Okay? Now I talk now I talk to you and I say, hey Ashok, why don't you sandwich off? Huh? Wait a minute. It's the meaning you put into the word. It's not the word itself. The word emphasizes a few things. It doesn't mean you're angry or anything like that. You just are. What if you approach a woman and went up to her and said, I would love to sandwich you in so many ways.
And you don't think I tried it? And she said, where's the other girl?
What? Okay, got it.
Okay. So if you want to be a sandwich, there has to be a third person in there.
Or in your case, it would be a reverse Oreo, but that's a different story. Yeah. So you know what I mean. Everything only has meaning if you put meaning on it. Otherwise, it has no meaning. Yeah. Like some people get very angry with me, scream at me, and for the last little while, when I forgot, I just got involved. They would scream things like, Mel, fuck you. And I said, thank you for that offer, but I don't have time. Maybe later.
Yeah, I'm busy right now. Yeah, people have these notions. Like one of the person, she lives in Toronto, and she tells me, like, totally right off the bat, she said, you've changed my life. Like it's like she has gone to all these doctors, and she was on a nervous breakdown, and they gave her the strongest of the medicine, and she couldn't sleep for 6 months. She was, and after once they gave her the strongest medicine, and she said, they said, if this doesn't work, that's all we have. And that's when she broke completely. She couldn't sleep, and she talked with me, and then she came and she stayed with me for 4 days. Okay. After that, she started sleeping. She started sleeping while she was here, and her life changed forever. And so she goes back to Toronto and tell all her friends. And she said, "Oh, he's my guru." And everybody's asking, "You are a very different person." And she didn't even tell anybody. People started asking her, and she's gone to the work. And this one of her very biggest clients, she came in and she said, "You are very different. What happened to you?" And she started telling. She said, "Oh, I'm having problem too. Like, can I speak with your guru? Can I see his picture?" So she shows my Facebook profile. That person freaked out. She said, "That can't be a guru. Like, he's dancing with the girls with a glass of wine in his hand. That's not a guru." And I understand when you say that, but it's like you put in too much notion into it. It's just a teacher, and the teachers are teachers could be your girlfriend could be a teacher to you, your partner could be a teacher, your brother could be a teacher, your father could be a teacher. Like, it's like when you are open, like I'm always open, I think everybody is a teacher around me. So that doesn't mean, like I said, okay, my girlfriend is a teacher to me, she's a guru to me, now she has to grow a beard and do this and not say profanity and everything. Actually, some of the things which I learned is when the profanity was speak, and you're like, wow, somebody can say that thing to me, like. And sometimes the friends say the things like I and you learn which you don't learn any other way. Like I know it. Like one time,
I have two names for you. You're
okay,
you're either the sleeping guru, and everybody comes to you for sleeping aids and giving them meditation, or, which is safer and more fits your profile, the dancing guru.
I think like there are issues with the labels anyway. Like I tell everybody, like I'm like, don't say that. I mean, that's going to put in certain kind of a concept into your mind. But people say whatever they want to say it. But
I'm not a guru, Ashok.
well, you are a teacher, and so am I. So you are a teacher. I learned so many things from you.
Yeah,
I
no,
learned.
no. I just show people how to become their own, because when I say I make them into gurus, I'm talking about the real Sanskrit meaning of guru, and you know this better than anybody else. Guru is going from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge, and that's what we do. We bring people from not knowing to knowing, and then when they come to that stage, we discourage them from following us because it's not necessary. Do your own, continue on your own, grow on your own, find other gurus, and hopefully you don't become they're not the kind of people that may say, "Oh, I am the only ha 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 ha," and so therefore you cannot need I try to avoid those people.
Oh, but I think it's important, like if you are going to climb Mount Everest, to have a Sherpa with you. I don't have
a guide.
Yeah, and the Sherpa is a guide.
Yes.
Right? Who is familiar with that train, like where you have to stop. Okay, go ahead.
But go into the Sherpa mind, right? The Sherpa has been up and down that mountains so many times. Oh, today again, you want to go Everest? I just went yesterday. Holy shit. Okay. I'll do it. And you pay it. And then you go, and then for that guy, it's the first time. Look at me. I'm 5 steps from Everest. I'm there. And the Sherpa stands there. He's happy that you're happy. And, and all he wishes for is that you don't die on the way down, because that's where most people die, is on the way down, because they become too overconfident and lose their footing and everything else, you see. And
I see the Sherpa's job is too, like, doing the same thing repetitive, but I also think because everybody who's going there is so adventurous and so much into the spirit, and that rubs off on them, and he's happy in that state too. So the thing is, you as long as you understand that you need a different teacher at different stages of your life to learn something, and then don't depend on them for the rest of your life.
Sure.
That is
don't be attached to the fact that you are a teacher or a guru.
Right. Right. And,
Like say for instance, which phrase do you like the most that I'm gonna label you with? Okay, you got three to choose
okay.
from.
Okay.
Ashok, you are a guru. One phrase.
Okay.
Ashok, you are not a guru. Ashok, you're a bad guru. Which one do you like? You have to choose one. You have to choose one. I'm so sorry. You cannot, nothing else. Just choose one.
Can I say none of the above? Is that an option?
You cannot. I told you you cannot. You cannot.
Okay, so then it is the first one. Then
which one is that?
Ashok, you are a guru. Because the other two options are not good.
Good. I like that. I like that. Do you know Tony Robbins? The name of his film is called I Am Not Your Guru.
Yeah, but let's not talk about that one.
Yeah. But you know if you know any form of how the brain operates and how it works, NLPs will tell you how it works as well. The brain cannot conceive of a negative of an idea. Like right now, if I ask you, Ashok, do not think of stop signs. That's the first thing you think about. Try again. Ashok, do not think about pink elephants.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing you think about. So when you say, I am not your guru, the brain only registers, I am your guru. It's amazing. Everything turns around from that point. Your income goes higher because it's subconscious imprinting in people's heads. So
I'm not the guru.
no, that would sell more.
Right.
But if you're honest and say, I am your guru.
Well, I mean, if the intention is to sell more, then you approach it differently. If the intention is to help more people, then it's a different statement. And I think everybody is a teacher. Everyone you meet in there. Like I know, like I think. So my friend Katie is listening to this, and what happened is like one time, like I don't know what I was asking. She was asking me a question, and I said, you want to come on the show while I'm talking with Dr. Gill, and I was talking, and she said, Ashok, with Dr. Gill and you talking on the show, I don't think there is a space for anybody else to talk. And
no, that's not true. We would let her talk.
Yeah,
sure.
I understand it, but I understand from that point, like I learned a lot where I'm giving more pause in my conversations and listening more. Now, I know you have been telling me for more than a year, and I never listened to you because you were not my guru to teach me that lesson. And she said it one time, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So I'm going to put more pause, and you realize I'm better. I'm not where I want to be, because one of the things which I learned,
you are not where we want you to be.
Right, where you want to be. So
that we can speak.
That is true. See, I'm doing the same thing
and have a dialogue instead of a monologue.
Okay, let's have a dialogue now.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about?
No, we are talking. We are talking.
No.
We're still talking about spirituality, growth. What did we say? Focus, to be able to learn how to focus. I gave some practical examples an hour ago, was it? Somewhere an hour ago, about staying focused and all of that. Some of the things that I do on a practical level is I get rid of a lot of distractions. I put on headphones. Oh, I didn't tell you this. The way in which I blasted through the guy's work is I put on headphones and I started to play some music. There's one that I listened to by what is your name, woman? Paloma is the last name. Paloma. I will remember. Davy Paloma, that's the name. Oh. And it's called Ang Sang Waheguru. Yeah, Ang Sang.
Oh, yeah, I know. Was it?
Yeah, what? Sorry.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Right?
Yes, and she's amazing. And so it does it for 12 minutes, and I looped it on YouTube. And you can imagine from about midnight till about 5:30 or 6, I'm working with that on in my head. My butt is frozen, and I don't even know it. I don't even feel it. I'm
Oh,
just
why you are
blasting through the work.
why you are sitting on a ice slab of ice? Why your
What?
butt is frozen?
Oh, I meant like the movie,
Oh, okay.
the cartoon. It doesn't become real anymore. But I have this very comfortable. I don't know if you can see it, sheepskin, um, and that makes the sitting comfortable because it doesn't get too hot. It doesn't get too cold. It's okay. And the air conditioning is blasting away at me. It's always so cool. I wish I could show you where I'm working, but maybe another day when I can turn things around.
Okay, so let's talk about something like when you were under anesthesia. Like I got a very well-known anesthesiologist who is my friend, and I questioned her many times. I said, what happened when you give somebody anesthesia? And she said, well, they are unconscious. And I grabbed her on that one. I'm like, yeah, but consciousness still has to be alive somewhere. This is your concept, what you try to do. But what I want to ask you is, once you have that anesthesia and you saw all these entities, right? Because you had a recent experience. Uh, why don't people can see it without those things, without the anesthesia? Like, how does it facilitate? Like, how does the like? Let's talk about something which is related to that. How come like I know so many people are dead against like ayahuasca and the mushrooms and all these things, but like, what do they do in your brain to open up that parallel lateral thinking?
Um, it's a fear, and it comes from one of the deadly needs as human beings to control, to remain in control, and it's the fear of losing control. That's why some people in relationships don't open up all the way because of the trust issue, and so they have to trust that person. And this is what you, Ashok, your personality, the Ashok personality, not the guru, just Ashok. This is what you elicit from people with your ability to let yourself go on the dance floor. I've been to 3 A Fest stations so far, right? Yeah, so far. I haven't been to more because, yeah, I don't know why. It's just been busy. They've been busy. That everybody's walking different paths. So, and so whenever I see you, you're the main character. You're the main hoo-ha on the ground, in the dance floor, and even at restaurants before they comes to the dance floor. The actual dancing takes place in the hotel back until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You guys are insane. I can hear you when I'm still trying to sleep, and all of that. But I wake up early enough, and you guys wake up at noon because of the headaches and stuff you have to deal with. And I'm sitting there from 6 or 7 o'clock. I remember not Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik was fun, activity filled, but the Greek place, island of Mykonos.
Mykonos,
Right? Yeah, and I woke up at 7 o'clock with this fellow from the movie producer from Bombay, him and his girlfriend, and we were just sitting there having a drink. We'll talk. We'll talk. He
Okay.
he wants to stay anonymous, but we'll talk out.
Oh, he was an AFS though?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Maintaining a low profile. He just wanted
Okay.
to, well, do what he does, and
Okay.
and he's a big deal. But as we sat there looking at the sea, which is mesmerizing, you know that, and it 3 hours before any other AFSers wake up, and we're sitting there going, wow, and we can't say anything to each other, and we both understand that big sigh. It's like, wow, blessed to be here, blessed to see this. And it is just amazing. And so in the same way, if we meet everybody and we don't fall into a terrible rhythm of every day, do this, do that, everything is mundane. Everything is been structured. At 2 o'clock you do this, 3 o'clock you do this, 4 o'clock you do this, and every day you wake up the same, and it's crazy. And I think you have earned this position. I've earned this position where I can get up whenever the damn hell I want to,
Yeah.
do whatever the damn hell I want to, and it will be okay. You know. We have a lot of people wrote to us
Yeah.
here. Shall we read some of this stuff?
Yes. Let's see.
Dusika says hello. Hello, Dusika. And Unpronounceable from Thailand says hello back. Malinka says, hi, teachers. You're born to give. Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Natarat says hello. Dobrin says good afternoon. Ting Malawan, who I thought was going to be on, but she decided not to be on. I used to listen song from Ki Samus for all day. During the night, I moved to another dimension. Wow. And Zoja says, stay home, wash hands. Good advice.
Yes. Stay home, wash hands.
Yeah. I would expand that, Zoja, to a little bit more. Wash everything else while you're washing your hands as well.
That may be a good reminder to wash everything else too.
Yeah, not just your hands. Yeah. Everything you use to touch people, you have to wash.
Oh gosh. No, I don't know.
So we're just having a free for all discussion. You're in conversation with Mel Gill and Ashok Thakur, two ordinary people who are making their way in the world, doing what they do best and what they're talented at doing. Ashok cracks nuts that are closed tight, and he's also one of those folks that can coax a large clamshell open. Do you remember BC cartoon? Do you remember that? You don't remember that?
No,
that's a different culture. I was pretty much raised in the U.S., so it's
right. I was not.
BC cartoon. He encounters a clamshell, a giant clamshell, and he was so happy because that's a lot of food to eat for one guy, and he's a caveman, right? And so he learns that banging it, hitting it with a spear doesn't open it, and it doesn't open. Cajoling it, screaming at it, smashing it from outside with a rock doesn't do it. But when you coax it open, you have to kind of calm the clamshell, and it starts to open up. So Ashok is that sort of personality that makes all the closed clams begin to open.
Thank you.
Yes. What you do with the insides, I don't know.
Inside is the inside job for every individual.
Yeah,
they have to do that job. Like once you see what is hurting you, everyone knows how to fix that. I mean, most of the time, like they can fix it. That like they can go inside, and I shouldn't say everyone, but like once there is the awareness, that is the start towards the healing. Okay,
I've seen a lot of people who do that, and their heart is in the right place, and they want to do that. And then they look at the inside of the clamshell. Number one, they don't recognize it because every clamshell is different. And every body inside the clamshell is different. They look at it, and then the first thing that goes in their mind as they smile at the person so they don't see their panic on their face is, what the fuck is this? What do I do next? And you don't know. And then something takes over you, and you begin, and you cannot. That's why a lot of hypnotherapists in the world, quote unquote hypnotherapists in the world, who have earned their stripes after 2 days, 4 days, 5 days. I don't know what it is, but in the time when we first started years ago, 30 years ago, it was like 2 days. Now it's expanded beyond and 600 hours and so on and so forth, which is very good. But clinical hypnosis is a little different story. And that takes months, years to master and to know and to understand the roots of, and then to marry it with psychotherapy and psychodynamic interventions is what we call it. That's very tough, and that takes a lot of learning. So the more you learn, and I urge everyone who wants to be a healer this way, mental, spiritual, even shamans and all of this, learn the basis of psychology, just to learn. Or if you want to, go into integral consciousness studies. There's a place called the Integral Institute. It's specifically geared up to teach you about consciousness and everything you need to know. Not neuroscience, but consciousness. And consciousness studies is the big thing that's going to hit the world soon, because we're going to be dealing and working with technologies that are unimaginable. Consciousness assisted technology. That's tough. That's very hard. I know a fellow named Robert Dilts who many years ago, I'm talking 40 years ago, 50, was already working with machines that you could control with your mind, games. And that's primitive. Now we have gone far beyond that into weapon systems and to be able to create, which takes me now to the beginning of this discussion an hour and a half ago, where we talked about the planets and the different planets where these beings are being trained by teachers, unknown teachers that cannot be seen, to create, to use their consciousness to create, bring cells together, from mitochondria to all of the other internal cycles of everything that's going on, to perfect a Krebs cycle, to see nano and macro. It's amazing. We're no longer talking micro. Now, if that happens and you bring that learning and that consciousness into you, then you can heal whoever and whatever is in front of you. For me to train, to change some people, I know I can't just change their way of thinking. I have to change some of their brain, because the brain has been adapting to whatever has experienced, whatever their experiences have been in life. And they can be quite depressing. Abandonment issues when you are left alone for weeks or months or years by supposedly responsible adults. Anxiety issues when you start to face a person who is abusive, and will they hit you? What's the next time you get stuttering? And all of these come from emotional issues where people told you to shut up, you mean nothing, and and boom, it locks into your unconscious mind. It's very difficult. And so it's far more complex than just your simple run-of-the-mill spiritual exercise.
So can this stuttering be cured with the hypnotherapy?
Not just hypnotherapy. You do it with a change of consciousness. I wish I knew all of these things like 30 years ago. I wish I would be more effective. It took time, but luckily we know now. So it's instant. But again, I warn you, Guru, I learned the hard way. You must know that you have a choice of who you want to teach. You don't have to teach everybody. Just be clear that some people are not teachable. And when you realize that, and that in some aspects, when you are calm enough to notice that what is happening with them, what is they're going through and all of that, to take it all away would be to take away their karmic growth, their spiritual growth. If you took away your child's homework and everything they had to go through, the punishment of homework and mathematics and geography and history and learning bullshit stuff that they won't have to remember. Why do I have to do this? And you take it. Okay, you don't have to do your homework. Now you're stopping them from growing into the larger grades, into grade 12. Yeah. So you cannot remove a lot of people's pain. They were there. And it sounds crazy. And this is where people start to think, what the are you talking about, Mel Gill? We made some of these choices. And so the discernment part from you, and maybe from me just to a lesser extent, is to look at someone and say, nice to meet you. Have a nice day. And walk away. Do whatever healing you can. Target the part of the brain that has been affected. Mentally, you don't even have to tell them that. You don't have to go do like that. You don't. You just mentally, you just do it. And then you send them all your calming energy and make an unconscious connection. Now, if you make an unconscious connection, what happens is every time they need something, all they have to do is think about their need, and somehow it comes out of you unconsciously. But then you ask yourself, does that mean you're going to be drained at the end of the day? No, not really. Unless you consciously think of yourself as being drained, you will not. Your source is endless. Your source is bottomless is not the right word. Help me with the right word. What is that right word? It's found in the culture, the Sanskrit culture and the Sanskrit Om Bhur Bhuvas Swaha
Gayatri Mantra.
Tapitur Varenyam
Yeah, Gayatri Mantra.
Bhargo Devas Jimaye. I started memorizing that when I was 17, and I don't know why.
That's one of the things which they did a lot of scientific research on. That has got such a profound effect. Just the sound of that on
Yes.
your that they were way beyond, couldn't understand it.
If you do that in the correct way, in the Sanskrit way,
Right.
without all the musical hoo-ha that's coming
Yeah.
out with it, then you go because of certain breath. You got to hold your breath a certain way. You got to breathe a certain way because it's very difficult to pronounce with the one breath and two breaths. You are actually going through, if you do it for about 15, 20 minutes, you are going through prana yoga.
Yeah.
You literally going through prana yoga in a
Yeah.
level that most people don't understand. They
Yeah.
think it's the sound that's doing it, but it's not. Gayatri is beyond Hinduism.
Yeah.
It was incorporated into Hinduism from a civilization that existed long before.
Yeah, we
And-
call
and-
it Sanatan. That's what I was talking about earlier. So it's
Right.
called Sanatan means universal. Like that truth was there, and religion came and
Yeah.
grabbed that.
Right. And so in there is a word in Sanskrit that means, in English, effulgence. And that is the source. Effulgence means a never-ending fountain. Where's the beginning of that? Like black holes suck things in, white holes exclude everything out. Maybe even the sun may be an example of this, we're told. And so as a result, you become that effulgence. And then people say, what if everybody sucks your energy from you? Look, the sun shines, but its sun is surrounded by darkness. And it still shines. It doesn't say, oh, the darkness is taking all my light, it's taking all my energy, taking all my... If you do that, then you're making yourself crazy for no reason. So if you want to go beyond that, some people can be helped, and some people should not be helped.
That's interesting.
Cassie is asking, Sunandrom, can you write it down?
Oh, Cassie is out of the shower already?
She was listening to us in the shower.
Yeah, I had a connection to the webcam in her shower, so I was like, okay, I wasn't even paying attention. She's out.
So you were not paying attention to same old, I've seen it before. What the heck?
It's actually Sundaram. I think she's talking about Sundaram means beautiful. She write it like that, but it's Sundar. Sundar means beautiful. Sundaram is more. So in India, like there are so many cultures, like the same words are different in whether it's in South India or in North India. Like if you say Sundar in North India, in South India you say Sundaram. Like if you say Ram in North India, they say Rama. So that's a different. But I think she meant Sundaram, which means she's trying to say beautiful. And Cassie says see. Now firstly she was talking Sanskrit. Now she's talking Spanish. So now she says see. Cassie, come on the call. Come on the show.
Let me give her the coordinates to do that.
I want to see how beautiful you look after you take shower. Dress up, please. So yeah, but that's interesting. Like I think I put in something and she said like I put in like one of my dancing clip and she said, oh, Ashok, I'm pretty happy, but this makes me happy. And I was like, I thought that was very nice of her. But so why we are, I want to ask you a question now, because when you have seen all these entities and all those things, like in anesthesia, and I know that you can see it in your meditation, and you can just sit quietly and you will see things around you. Are these things are trying to help us in any way, or trying to do something, or they are just being there? Do they even care? Like, are we like little insects to them, like insects to us? Like, I'm not going over there and helping the little ants take the food to their house. Are we like that? What is happening with all these Pleiadians and the entities and everything?
It's like asking me, are butterflies there to help us? Birds, and they just are. Actually, they're part of the ecosphere that we call life and everything that we do. But I have to tell you something, though, something amazing that you must pay attention to, that these entities somehow disguise themselves to interact with you as somebody you loved or lost, and so on and so forth. And you have to pay attention. And if you don't have the real sight, you start to believe that your mother is. One thing happened to this couple that were doing Reiki and this and that. They had this delusion that the mother of this woman was talking to them and all that. I said, please summon your mother. And I did. And I looked and I knew there was something not quite right. I said, who are you? Step out. Boom. She was so shocked at what was left behind. And she said, that's not my mother. I said, no, it's not. Your mother has gone on. Your mother has gone on to live another life and so on and so forth. Please stop doing this. This is a waste of your time. Pray, do whatever you need to do. Continue healing people, helping people, but don't do anything else. Cassie, how are you?
Hi.
Nice to see you. So this is the clean Cassie after the shower. Yeah. I've only seen the one
I even washed my hair.
I've only seen the unshowered one all the time.
Funny.
So we needed some glamour in this show. Like, nobody wants to see like us talking. So we said, let's get Cassie. So Cassie, how is it going? How's life over there?
It's pretty good. We're doing pretty well here. We don't have much COVID, and I'm stuck here in wonderful Thailand. So it's a beautiful place to be. And we're sort of back to normal life here, which is wonderful. Lots of dancing and parties.
Which is amazing. Like, I saw the list of there are 31 countries from New York where you can go and you don't have to quarantine when you come back. At Thailand, they put Thailand on that list.
No, you totally have to quarantine here for sure.
No.
Really?
Over there I have to, but when I'm coming back.
Yeah.
See, my problem was, like, if I go anywhere, I have to quarantine for 14 days over there, 14 days over here. So that's a month gone. Plus, like, I had to have some fun in that place. So I was happy to see that.
I think Thailand has passed new legislation last week, which is very confusing. You don't need to quarantine in Thailand. You quarantine in your country of origin, and then you come, which is a bit like, are you what? WTF situation?
Yeah,
and you can, if you come in with a private jet, you don't need to quarantine at all.
Okay.
To Thailand, really?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
I'm not kidding.
Cassie, I'm going to talk to Sarah because she has.
We're having so much fun over here.
What? You have to say that again.
Talk to who? Sarah?
Because she has the private jet, I'm going to ask her if she can fly me to Thailand. Then I don't have to quarantine.
Yes, correct.
I forgot. We do have a friend with a private jet.
Yeah.
Good thinking, Ashok.
There you go. See that?
Yes.
Good. So we were talking about spirituality, and Ashok was confirming his status as guru, and we were all bowing to him. That's what we were doing.
No, I did not, Cassie. You know that.
I'm pretty sure I helped with your guru status, Ashok. I'm pretty sure that I was like, hey, Ashok, go be a guru.
Of course, and you know what people say. So
I knew him when he wasn't famous. It'll be one of those.
Wow. Yes, it would be. We better get his autograph now before he gets too big for us. And they have this entourage, these gurus, and we cannot get close. Yeah.
You know, like what, Cassie, I told you so many times. I said, I don't want anybody to call me guru because then they put you onto the pedestal and it's
Yeah.
very difficult to come down and have sex with them.
Yeah, I
Unless
remember.
you are an, unless
That
you
was
are an
the
Indian
first
guru.
Guru quote.
You've never had sex on a pedestal, really?
Oh, okay. I don't know what you're watching. It's very difficult for me.
Cassie can inform you about how that's done. That's easy.
She never told me that trick. So
Yeah. It's chapter 67 of the Kama Sutra.
by the way, you can use that with me because I read all of it. So
Oh, okay.
so when people say, okay, it's there, I'm like, no, it's not actually. But so Kathy, so what's do you have a question or topic you want us to talk about?
In regards of spirituality.
Anything. We don't care. It's not a scripted program.
You meditate a lot, woman, don't you?
Yes.
And what
I used to meditate more than the last year or two. It's sort of like the more I do it, the more I desperately need it. And so if I sort of get out of the habit, I feel like I need it less. But as soon as I see it again, I was like, oh God, what was I thinking? Of course, that solves all my problems.
Okay. So like a nun. Like a nun. When you get out of your habit, you meditate.
That will be one very sexy nun over there. So
I'm just kidding. Now I'll never get into heaven with that kind of statement. But what do you do when you meditate? I mean, what do you focus on? Do you have a mantra you say to yourself, or a particular area you focus on? What do you do? Teach us.
I don't do mantras just because I had never learned it that way. That's why I was asking about the one you were talking about with the breathing, because I thought it was so interesting. But I just never learned it. I think the first time I learned it was when I India maybe 4 years ago. So before that I had just done the Vipassana here, which is I learned in a temple, but we never did mantras.
No.
We just did Vipassana breathing.
You don't need mantras. Vipassana, you pay attention to where your breath goes in and to where your breath comes out. Very good. Awesome. Yeah. And how long can you stay in that state?
Well, the funny thing is I learned Vipassana for a long time, maybe 10 years. My best friend was a nun, 60-year-old nun. I went everywhere with her. I sort of lived in and out of the temple here part-time for 3 years. And I learned at the foot of a Burmese monk who taught me every day how to do Vipassana, sitting across from me, perfect English, everything. It was the perfect setup for learning how to meditate. And I would do it for sometimes an hour, sometimes twice a day. I did it for years and I never got anything from it. It just I had zero idea what I was looking for. And I was just I don't know, this meditation thing, so many people get so much, but I just never got anything. And then I discovered Osho, which is for the people who don't know, the guru in India. And he had this sort of new age meditation that was for the kind of Western mind that was more busy than per se the Eastern mind. And I did like one of his classes and I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like I like literally moved my stuff in and I stayed like 3 months and I just did like 8 hours a day of Osho meditation in the middle of nowhere, Rishikesh, and just like ate it all up. And it was once I saw what it was and once I had learned how to find it through his way, then I was able to come back to Vipassana and do it that way as well. But it was just kind of like, it was like taking the blinders off. I wasn't sure what I was looking for the whole time. So I never actually found it. And then when I found Osho, it was just like a really fast way for
You-
me to see.
You're talking about kinetic meditation, the movement meditation.
Yeah, like active meditation. So things where
Okay.
maybe you do something active for anywhere from like 30 to 45 minutes. Like it could be dancing with your eyes closed, or it
Mhm.
could be humming like a Tibetan singing bowl, or turning in circles. All of these things, and essentially you're just like relaxing. Like the mind gets so exhausted from this kind of very simple thing that if you did it for 2 minutes it would be really easy, but if you do it for 30 or 45 minutes, it becomes really difficult. And it's just your brain is exhausted, and then you meditate for the 15 minutes kind of at the end of it, 15 or 30 minutes depending on which one it is. And so that's how I found my way, is a much shorter way to meditate, but with I don't know, predecessor of some sort of something.
For those of you who are tuning in right now, we're in conversation with Ashok Thakur and Cassie Fox Percival, Cassandra, I guess, for short name. And
A bit of
she's talking-
Cassandra in my life.
she's talking about Osho and Ashok.
Not a show.
No.
Not a show. A show.
Yeah, she's talking about Osho, who is also the short favorite term for Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, who has a ashram in Pune, I think, India.
Yeah.
And where people can come in and learn and find out more as well. So she's being summoned by.
But
Yeah.
No, sorry. It's just I learned. Sorry, I learned. I didn't learn at Pune. I learned in Rishikesh, and I think it's much better because in Pune it's very strict because they have a lot of guests come through there. So it's very. I don't know. I learned with kind of this like freedom and like way to explore life and find this part of yourself that you had never found before, which was a really like kind of outstretched way to the way I'd been living my life. And then I went to Pune like maybe a year later because when I had learned, my guru didn't speak English like at all. So I just got like the little book and I just learned everything like in person, but I didn't get the details of it. So I went back later to study at at his place in Pune, but I didn't like it as much as the way that I had learned it.
And how has meditation helped you? Sorry, Ashok. How has
No, I was going to
meditation
ask the
helped
same
you?
question.
Okay. How has meditation helped you?
When I found it was like I was when I first found Osho's meditation, it was like I did 5 minutes of it and I found a joy that I hadn't seen since I was maybe 5 years old. And I was like, oh my God, I had forgotten what joy felt like. Like I had forgotten, it was like a kid on the swing, and it was kind of finding this joy. So it was actually like when I first did it all through Osho, it was more of like a freedom and no rules, and I'm allowed to do whatever I want to, and there's no wrong or right. It's just whatever you find in yourself. And so, a lot of these are kind of dancing meditation, or a lot of them are maybe crying meditations or screaming and yelling, and I have like a very, I had never experienced any of those things or been given permission.
That sounds like if you got into a relationship, you'd be meditating most of the time. Crying.
I know you were going to that. I had a question about the relationship.
I'm not like a very like I'm a very loud personality now, but like in relationships I'm quiet. I never get angry. I never get, I don't know, like it just was not a part of myself that I had ever been able to explore. So meditation through active meditations was a way for me to purge my soul and feel purified and feel peaceful. And it's all the same thing everybody else is getting. I'm just getting some fitness while I'm at it.
Is that because your best friend was a nun? Did that affected you? How you are in a relationship though? Quiet and
No, I don't know. Maybe because we were always in the temples, and like on the weekends I would go to like spiritual talks every weekend, and yeah, we had
are nuns are supposed like allowed to have sex or no?
No, of course not. Sure. And you know what? To top it off, my best friend is a nun, but the street that I live on is called Convent Road, and across the street, like 2 meters from my house, is a convent. The whole street is a convent.
So
you should not let Ashok go down to that convent.
Right.
Not at all.
But
The nuns would be in trouble.
They're the kind of nuns that like aren't allowed out. You know who I'm talking about? Like,
how she became your best friend if she's not allowed out?
She doesn't go to that temple. She goes to a different temple, like a Thai temple. But this is like a Christian temple across the street. But it was funny.
But is it like I'm always curious. I know some people will be mad at me, but I'm always curious. It's because your mom is on the show,
Yes.
so now I have to be careful.
10:30 p.m. She's still awake. My mother says, "Hello, hey, Momji." We're talking with Ashok and one of our friends, Cassie, as
Hi,
well.
Momji. So like, are these girls became? Is that your phone? Somebody's phone is ringing. I hope it's not.
No. It's Cassie's.
But if I leave you, I don't know. Hold on, wait. I'm still
No.
here. but-
What you do is you go to Skype and switch off Skype. That's all.
Oh. Okay,
No, it
I
doesn't
did
matter.
it.
That's too technical for Cassie. Okay, don't.
I know.
No, she
She's going to disconnect everything.
did it. She did it.
Let's not do that. It's okay. We'll take the little.
Just go to Skype and then hit quit. Just quit. It'll stop, and then you can log in later.
Okay, but hold on. Now I got a question. Look at that nun. She's drinking wine and everything. Now,
I'm not a nun. I'm a very naughty nun.
okay. Does these women?
Notice I'm not saying anything. I'm just looking at you, smiling.
And I can see your pussy too. You are killing it.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just
Okay.
talking about this one. I know her.
My mother just said hello to you, Cassie.
Hello. Hi, mommy.
Yes.
So Cassie, so these women became nun because they were not successful in relationship and they were not getting anything, and they said, okay, better off being nun, or they became nun and then they why people choose to be nun, like rather than living this life. I know it's complicated, but like I want to understand your perspective.
We'll have to have a nun present to talk to her about her needs and all of that.
Do we know a nun?
Let's talk to Cassie first.
Right.
I'm more interested in what's happening in her life
Okay.
and the things that and she finding balance. I'm very happy. I mean, you look happier than I've seen for so long, and I'm so happy.
That's very true. Yeah, I am happier than I have been in a long time. There's still days that are not great, hours, but not not whole days.
So happy for you, kiddo. So happy for you. You see, when I don't hear from Cassie, everything is fine. When I hear from her, it's not.
It's the same. I can say the same thing. I can say the same thing. Exactly.
No. Not trying to make you feel guilty. No, I am very happy.
Cassie, I've got a question. You think the spiritual people, or say, for example, right now, Dr. Mel Gale, like he can when he tune in, he can understand spiritually being connected, not personally talking to you, that he can understand what you're feeling at certain points sometimes?
Yeah. You feel like wait, was that a question?
Yeah,
So,
I think it was more a statement than anything else. It was
No, no,
like,
do you?
what?
I said, do you feel?
more than you can, I think, was the abbreviation of that.
Okay, got it.
No, we are.
Yeah.
You look. I don't see myself as spiritual. I think we all are who live on this planet. You know, we
Yeah.
all have some degree of spirituality, and to compare and say, oh, you're highly spiritual, you're less spiritual. You know, people can go screw themselves. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
The point is everybody's following a path that's comfortable and good for them, and that
Yeah.
causes less pain and more pleasure, more happiness. So do the things that cause you more pleasure. And if it's things that are, you know, Cassie, we've had this talk before, and Ashok as well, and many other people. If you can control some of the things that are addictive, you control it, it doesn't control you, then you're fine. You're going to be living a very good life. Same with relationships. It can become stimulus. You become stimulus addicts. You know, we want to fall in love. We want to be loved and all of those things. What if, and the premise I was giving Ashok just now, our favorite guru between you and me, Cassie, and
favorite
yeah, and no, the favorite guru could be the cat, but mostly now it's Ashok, and telling him that why don't we sometimes spend all of our energies just doing all the healing quietly. I want to do that. I want to disappear into some part of the world where everybody will ask the question, what the hell happened to Mel Gill? Don't know. Nobody knows. And then from there, you think of me and I heal you. I mean, that was just for drama. But you know what I mean, right? It just happens. And then there's a warm something inside of you that just knows you're okay. You're going to be okay, or it's going to be okay. Even if it's a negative, unpleasurable, painful experience, shit, we have to go through it. No choice.
Yeah, but
we have to go through it.
Why we have to go to some place in the Himalayas or wherever, like a quiet place, and disappear? Why?
You can. It's your choice. I mean, not everybody is as strong as you, Ashok. Some people need to become monks or nuns, or I was going to be a monk for some time.
Is there a crash course for monk? Like I can do it in a week or something?
Yes, it's called Monkey School. What kind of that? You graduate as a monk.
Monkey School.
No, it's called Monkery School. Monkery. It's a new word, monkery. Anyway, the point is, we're all spiritual beings. Earth is our monastery, playground. It's also can be our hell or our heaven. And somewhere along the way, we take pleasure and enjoy it to its maximum. And if it's pain, take a look at the lesson, see what we learned from it, and go, shit, I don't want to repeat that. So change it. Do something else, change your thinking, Cassie, and you are doing so well. Look at that smile on your face, woman.
I know.
It is so good. It's so good to see that.
He's like, okay, world is the monastery. He did not say clubs are churches.
Doesn't matter. I live
vicariously connect in our own ways.
That's it.
Yeah. I live vicariously through both of you. She's gone to those amazing clubs with the flashing lights. Do you remember Katie Bunny?
Yeah, of course I do.
And she's got all of these things happening. I think it's South America. I'm not sure where.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, and that's so amazing to live through you guys. And then of course you, Ashok, doing your thing with the hoo-ha on the West Coast and all of that. So I'm watching you guys and I'm saying, wow, I'm so happy for you. And,
Well,
I take my pleasure in that.
I can assure you, you get much more pleasure through Cassie than through me. So just keep your attention, living your life
I
through
told
Cassie.
you, if everything is okay with her, I do not hear from her. And which is good. Which I'm not saying that to make you feel bad. I am very, very happy for you. Very happy for you. The only
Okay.
people who contact me are the people who are in pain, who need help, and and need to talk through something, and blah 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 blah. And I'm willing and wanting to help, because I'm your friend. Both of you, I'm your friends. And
But the
same
thing
with
is that you
15,000
see us before.
people listening. I am your friend.
Yeah.
Sorry, say it again.
No, I was saying, like, even if I'm like not 100%, but I'm 50%, and I'm like pretty happy. Like, if I talk to you on the phone, I know you're gonna ask if I'm okay, and then I have a breakdown, and then I look bad. So I just.
No, I don't care how you look, woman. I want you to be genuinely, and if there's any way for me to help you to be genuinely happier, I will.
But
You
I mean,
know
do you
that.
like fake it until you make it? Like, sometimes, like, maybe 80% you're happy, but then there's like 20% you're a little like grumpy about.
Fake it. Fake it till you make it. We're not talking about bed, woman. We're talking about like real life.
I know, but I mean, if you sort of like convince yourself you're happy, and it's like if there's like a little part
Good.
of you unhappy, maybe you don't have to go 100% into being.
No, you don't.
That little bit.
I don't know who told everybody on this planet that you have to be happy all the time.
Right.
It's ridiculously unattainable for a
And
lot of people,
absurd.
because your body goes through biorhythms. Your body goes through, your brain goes through emotional rhythms. You also go through these energy cycles in your body, and so on and so forth. If you can follow the cycles, you remember you're not always 100% happy, and sometimes you're surrounded by assholes, and you can't help yourself. You have to be unhappy. But sometimes you are with people you love and enjoy and doing the music, and you are happy, and you glide in and out. But if you can have more moments when you are happier, then they begin to stack, and soon it becomes amazing. And then you'll have to deal with thoughts again, and home and family and blah 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 blah, and relationship hoo-has and past memories. And so we try to look forward as much as possible, because the past has nothing to give us unless you want to feel the pain, and it's called emotional masturbation. Then go ahead, look at the past. It's going to bring you nothing. You cannot change it. So it's only forward, Cassie, until the day we die, both of us. And then we look back and say, hey, we've had a good life. We had lots of fun. Holy shit, why didn't we know it? It's
You
because
mean look back after we are dead?
2 minutes before we're dead.
2 minutes before we are dead. Okay.
Yeah, because
I'm going to look back.
I have a hallucination that 2 minutes before everyone dies on this planet, everyone is enlightened. So it will look like this. All of a sudden you'll be, I'm dying, and all of a sudden, wow, it's been a great life. I know the answers. I know the meaning. Then you go and then you start again.
Then you start again. Then you do the past life regression to see how you died. What happened?
Whatever needs to be done should be done. And that's it.
Cassie is going to be like a new expert in something she's learning. Cassie, can you share that?
You know she's a teacher.
Yeah, I know that.
I know. Okay, she's going to share.
Yeah, let's hear something.
What are you talking about?
Yes. Play something.
Play something.
Play something. That's
Yeah.
all right.
Your favorite.
Beautiful.
The title of that piece is How to Get Rid of the Cat. Do you know that song?
That was beautiful. Record that,
Very
send it
nice.
to me
Very
so that I
nice.
can use it on my show.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
want-
of course. Actually,
that's the
yesterday was the first day I performed not classical. Like I played with a band yesterday. I've never in my life like improvised or any of that stuff. And then my friend was like, "Come on, I'll show you like a little pentatonic scale." And then I played with a
Wow.
band, like a real rock star.
Someone from Thailand, Ting Maliwan, says, "Nice sound, so nice sound. Wow." My father is watching. Say hello, Ashok. Hey, Papaji.
How are you doing?
Dragana from Slovenia is watching, and Michelle Baca is watching. Hey, Michelle, welcome.
How are you? Michelle, we
Enrique?
have to have a conversation this week. We know that I have a date.
Michelle, would you like to join us in this little conversation, a reunion of A-Festors?
Here, there's another A-Fester.
A-fested people.
Yeah.
Looks like we are.
All you got to do, Michelle, just to come on, is to take a look at this link that I'm just about to post, and just click on that link. There's no download of anything, nothing. Just come on in. It's that simple, and then you'll join us in our little discussion. We're talking about practical spirituality, something that works for all of us. Practical meditation without going too beyond into discussions that most people cannot attain. You know, that kind of level of being and ness and all of that. So, and I'm very happy to meet Cassie after such a long time. When was the last time I talked to you, woman? Been a while.
I don't know, maybe 6 weeks ago or something.
What?
Oh, in person, it's been a long while. Yeah,
But
a year or something.
a year, maybe. I can't remember when it was. But anyway.
Yeah, but you know what? Why she's on the line? Because I'm there. Otherwise, she never come on the phone. That's all the credit.
Well,
Okay. Terina said, "Great. Te, where are you from? What part of the world?"
Actually, it's Rina Tay, I think.
Okay. I mean, it says
Tay is the
Terina.
last name.
In
Well,
some
although
part of the world, they put in the last name first, right?
Terina. Terina. What sounds like a ballerina? Sounds like yes. Have you seen her dance?
Who
No.
Terina?
I'm
Or
just
Cassie?
kidding. But I've seen. Cassie got me hooked on watching her dance from Santorini days. She was there. She was doing it all the time when the sun was rising, when the sun was setting, and she was just
And in
going
between.
crazy. And yeah, it was
She was
swirling.
Because I'm going to the islands. I think I'm going to go to Koh Phangan. And I need to do my meditation, so I can do meditation, dancing, sunset. Because Koh Phangan has amazing sunsets, almost even better than Santorini.
Yeah, remember our mutual friend, buddy? What's his name? Daniel.
Oh, Danny?
Yeah,
Oh,
Danny.
Daniel Packard.
Packard. Daniel Packard. He was, and then you educated me, told me he left, he couldn't get back in, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, big mistake. But anyway, he's in Mexico, you said, right?
Yeah, Mexico's pretty good too.
Yeah. So anyway, a lot of people are choosing Thailand.
Yeah, I mean, now they're allowing like a 3-month tourist visa to some people, but it's very small amount. It's like 1,200 people is all they're allowing supposedly in per month, which is almost nothing.
Yeah. How are they going to bring the economy back? It's going to be very tough. Michelle Baca says, "I'm multitasking, can't jump in with you right now, but I really want to join you another time. I love you." I think, was that directed at you?
Directed. Oh, maybe both of us, or maybe all three of us. But
Hey, reverse Oreo.
Cassie, can you travel out? Will they let you travel out of Thailand or no?
I can get out, but I can't get back in. So that's
You-
the issue.
Yeah, get back.
Sounds like a
But-
nightmare. Sounds like a nightmare relationship, isn't it?
I know.
I can get out anytime I want.
You can get out, but you can't get in. Like once you get out of a relationship, why you want to get in again? I mean, you're out.
Well, that's how they invented sex, I think. But Rena Tay says, Mel, it's been years since I heard from you. Yes, Rena, it's been a very, very long time. She's from Singapore. Let me answer
Oh,
that.
Singapore. Okay.
Yeah. And we will meet one of these days for coffee because within ourselves we can. The good thing about where Cassie is in Thailand, if she got stir crazy staying in one place, there are so many islands. There's so many northeast. You could go to the mountains. You could go to everywhere. If you're in Malaysia, you can go to, again, the mountains. You can go to the beaches. You can go to in Singapore, it's like you can go clockwise in one direction if you want. And then you could go anti-clockwise in the other direction if you want. It's like, what the hell? There's nowhere to go. And all the islands have been turned into casinos. So okay, what?
You are in Alcatraz, right?
What?
You are in Alcatraz. You can't go anywhere. There's water all around.
Well, yeah, but COVID is my life long before COVID became popular.
Yeah.
I mean, Cassie knows it.
Until it lasted like 8 months, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. So, but you see, I've been doing this for the last 8, 10, 20 years. And
Okay.
so I don't understand when people complain and say, you can't get out. I never get out. And in fact, I was taking somebody out for dinner as a surprise, happy gift for doing something that they accomplished. And they said, where are you going to take me? I said, I have no clue what's out there. McDonald's? No. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I have to get out. It's 2 hours. I got another meeting I have to go to.
Well, me too. And I have to
Thank you
get
so
to bed.
much. Thank you, Cassie. Love it. Love you. And
Yeah.
I'll see you next
Before
time.
you go, some word of advice, Guru, for everyone listening.
The advice which comes to me today is
Yes.
take your actions, whatever you want to do, but surrender the outcome. And when you surrender the outcome, you do it with being open to all the possibilities, because most of the people has got big trouble surrendering the outcome to the higher power. But if you also, along with that, say, I'm accepting the unlimited possibility, I'm open to the possibility, it will be easier to surrender the outcome. That's my advice for today.
Thank you, Ashok. Cassie, your advice to everybody listening in on a practical level. It doesn't have to be high flown, big hoo-ha. Just practical. Everybody wants practical advice, and you're the most practical person I can think of.
Right. I guess I would say try all those things that you're afraid to do, and those things that you have all the excuses in the world not to do, but it's just one step on the other side of that mirror, or maybe it's a new way to look at the world, an old experience in a new way. Just step over it. Some things I wait years to do that for, and I could have done them in 5 minutes.
Wow. Very good advice. Don't be afraid. Jump into it. Do it. What's the worst that can happen, right? Yes. I like that.
Yeah.
Cassie, I really appreciate you being here tonight. Good night, kiddo. We'll talk soon.
Love you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. And that takes us to the end of this program on Common Sense. As my computer speaks to me and tells me it's 11 o'clock. We have been discussing many things today, not in particular things that have to do with chasing butterflies, but as you chase butterflies, you begin to realize that in releasing the butterfly, that's when we begin. And the chase has been forever constant in our brain. The chase has been our brain. And the butterflies have been the wants, needs, desires, hopes, aspirations, fears, and everything that has ever stopped us from being and releasing. As Cassie said, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of going out there and trying all these things that you were afraid of doing. Or, as Ashok said, sometimes when you surrender your end, then you become your own guru. You surrender the outcome of anything. I have a young friend who actually speaks of the time when he reads stories with his daughter as a time that he needs no confirmation of anything. And there is wisdom in his phrase, a time that needs no confirmation. See, we all need to touch down with the source of life. We need to touch down with it over and over. Sometimes, again, we all need to touch that part of our source in order to brighten enough to continue with life. And whether we make our way sometimes into that source by playing music, as Cassie just did, or listening to any other music that we like, or meditating, as both of my guests do, by painting or loving or going to parties and soirees and being with people who are loving and kind and wanting simply to have fun with no guile, or sometimes reading stories to our children or to our friends' children or to ourselves, actually. So when we close our minds like tired eyes and surrender our hearts like mouths that are thirsty and open, we come upon this common source. What do we call it? Well, a source where nothing needs to be approved or accepted, where no rejection or criticism needs to be overcome. The experience itself is all the authority that we need, however small. And interestingly, these renewing moments, often precisely when we least forget about ourselves, they show themselves. Like horses with blinders we can't quite shake, we sniff our way out until we come upon these deep pools that we drink from. Breaking out of routines that have been learned over time and with a lot of the pain that comes with time. Repeating over and over again until we come to that stillness, that moment we can dip our head in the water and say, now I'm okay. Now I'm no longer thirsty. And for that moment, we are saved. But in truth, really, we drink from this great paradox daily. And though everyone alive shares this moment that we are living right now, no one experiences this moment more directly than ourselves. No one can say what it feels like for you to be alive but you. No one needs permission to be alive or to stay alive, to know the joy of touching your unrepeatable hand to the earth. No one knows you except you. Tomorrow will begin another day, and you will awaken, and you will find your center as you thank the universe stepping off your bed. Thank you that I am alive. And your second thank you will begin when you walk through your house. Thank you for all that surrounds me. And your third thank you will be when you leave your house and meet the day and the miracle that is constantly unfolding, which is Earth. Tomorrow, for yet another day. Welcome to Earth. It's a new moment for you to kick off your heels and learn to breathe. Good night, everyone. You've been listening to the voice of Dr. Mel Gill, and this has been Uncommon Sense.